Hello, Radiant One, and welcome to Spiritual Business with Maria Saraphina, the show and podcast for soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneurs, business owners, and Magdalene's Rising ready to expand and wanting to lead with love in business and life. I am your host, spiritual business coach, mentor, catalyst, and facilitator, Maria Saraphina, and it is my deep honor, my great pleasure, and joy to share this episode with you. If you feel the deep stirrings of something new asking to be born through you, go to mariasarafina.com/DCIA to download the free guide, Divine Clarity and Inspired Action that I've created for you. Divine Clarity and Inspired Action will help you to connect with your divine feminine essence of gnosis, wisdom, knowledge, and intuition, as well as activate your divine masculine essence of action, creation, expansion, and building, so that you may experience the satisfaction and liberation that comes from bringing to life that which you're here to birth while being, doing, and living your soul's divine purpose. On my website, you will also find show notes, transcripts, and previous episodes. Hello, everyone, and a very big and a very warm welcome into today's episode of the Spiritual Business Show and Podcast, in which we are going to be talking about myths about having a spiritual business. This is something that's been on my heart for a while, and I am super excited to dive into it. However, before I dive into this, I already have the sense that there's going to be like some sort of follow-up to this episode, because I am sure that that I have only scratched the surface. And so as you watch this or as you listen to this, I would really, really love for you to like keep an eye out or an ear out for the ones that I have missed. And please do share them with me or us in the comments below, because I want to blow these out of the water, and doing so to really empower you, to empower those who listen, and support you, and in understanding that these myths are ridiculous and out of proportions, and some of them mostly probably fear-based, and let's just get rid of them. Okay, so these are the ones that I have gathered are in no particular order. There's not like this is number one and this is number two. It's just like what came to me, and like I said, I would love to hear what you have to share as well. Okay, so the first one is that having a spiritual business can't be serious, or you're not serious if you have a spiritual business, which is, I'm probably going to say the word ridiculous a few times in this episode, so bear with me. First of all, having a spiritual business, and when I say spiritual, it can really be it can be a holistic or alternative, or any kind of, I guess, considered soft, because that's another one. Like, soft is another one of those myths that having a spiritual business is like soft. But let's start with not serious. So to me, and also given, that I work with, heart-driven, soul-based spiritual entrepreneurs. I work with Magdalene's Rising and Magdalene Rising. So I see the dedication, the commitment, the passion, that goes into their businesses. And I know what I put into my business as well. The dedication, the passion, the commitment that is to showing up. And I also know that in terms of seriousness, I know how many of you, both you, myself, and my clients, how many modalities, like how much you pour into training. And I'm not talking about trainings and services and offerings or workshops that you're putting out into the world. I'm talking about the your continued dedication to your craft. And so your continued dedication to your training, to your expansion, to your body, soul, and mind, to your everything. And so I know that you have modalities that you add onto your onto your trainings. You have extra, extra training, extra workshops, extra whatever it is that you want to add. And so having a spiritual business being called not serious to me is, like I said, ridiculous, because there is so many people who are very, very dedicated and very, very serious about. And let's be honest, having a spiritual business, a holistic business, an alternative business, we deal a lot of times in healing of people, and healing is serious. And when I say that, I don't mean, because I also want to emphasize the joy and the satisfaction and the happiness and the vibrancy and the laughter and the love and the caring and all of that as well. And when I say that we're serious, it's more that we are, as healers, as coaches, as therapists, as counselors, as graphic designers, as yoga teachers, as dance instructors, as priestesses, whatever it is, if it's, accountants, whatever it is, you are very serious and very dedicated to your craft. And so having it be called not serious is, like I said, ridiculous. Now, I already mentioned soft, which again is funny, because I do not know of any other, or maybe that's not true. I consider having a spiritual business as one of the most powerful transformational tools that you have, both for yourself and for your clients, because it will literally bring up anything and everything that is not of love. When you have committed yourself to following your heart, to having a love-based business in a paradigm that has shifted and is shifting into the new paradigm, but where a lot of people are still living in that fear-based mindset, doing so requires boundaries. It requires strengthening your resolve. It requires stamina. It requires commitment. And so to have our businesses be called soft is ridiculous. And also, I don't mind someone calling my business soft, because soft means flexible. It means loving. It means, kind, caring, and compassionate. And it means setting boundaries. It means showing up. It means having discipline. It means having courage. There's so many things that are in that, having that spiritual, alternative, holistic, whatever you want to call it, business. So soft is another one of those myths that we can check off the list. Now, into the next one, which is, you can't make money having a spiritual business. Or the other one, which is even worse, you shouldn't be making money having a spiritual business. You should just be giving it away for free. The first one first. So you can't make money. I have a spiritual business. I have the Spiritual Business podcast that you're listening to. I also have sacred conversations with very successful spiritual entrepreneurs. And I have chosen to share that and to invite them into sacred conversations because I want to show you and the world what is possible when you choose to follow your heart, when you choose to have that business that your heart is calling you to have, when having that spiritual love-based soul-driven business is what yours, that's the expression of your soul's purpose in this lifetime. And there are, at this very moment, thousands, if not millions of people who are living a very good life based off of a spiritual business, whether it be, doing tarot readings or yoga or Ayurveda or having, again, I return to accountant because I have a spiritual accountant that I love and adore. And she is very accountant-y, and at the same time, she's hyper spiritual. And so she gets it. So it is very possible and to have a spiritual business and make money. Now on to the second half of that, which is the one that you shouldn't be making money based, when you have a spiritual business. And I am trying to center myself so I don't just go off on a rant. I probably will anyway. However, in the world that we live in today, you have to pay your rent. We have to pay for the system. So right now I have a full setup. I have lights, I have a microphone, I have a camera, I have a computer, I have an iPad that's doing my time. I have a platform that I'm going to send this out through. I am going to be hosting this on a service that is going to charge me money. And it is, again, to me, ridiculous. The notion of us not allowing to be well fed, well clothed, well dressed, anything, well nourished, where on every level is really, to me, a remnant or a hook of the old paradigm. It's the hook of ego that's, you should not be doing this. The thing is, and this is something that I share with my clients over and over and over again in sessions, and I will say to anyone, is that what I know to be true is that when you are a soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneur who is making money, any kind of money, a lot of money, small money, any kind of money, what you do with that money is different from other people, because you choose to put that money back. You choose to put that money back. You most likely are donating. You're most likely, and donating can be both your money or your time. You're sharing. I share so much free content to the world because I know that not everyone will want to work with me. Not everyone will be in a place to work with me, but I want you to still have the wisdom and the knowledge. And the only reason that I can do that is because I'm taken care of. If I wasn't taken care of, I wouldn't be able to share this with you, and you wouldn't be able to share that with the world. So the notion that we as spiritual entrepreneurs should not be making money, to me, is utter BS. I said that. And yeah, I think I shared. That's what I said. Then there is the whole, you're having a spiritual, the myth, having a spiritual business is too fluffy. I think I covered that in the South, but it's you can't be too woo-woo, you can't be too purpley, or you can't be too unicorny, or you can't be too glittery, and again, you living your truth is the most powerful thing there is. And so if you living your truth means that you communicate with the elements and the fairies, if that is that you are visited by aliens, or is that you are channeling some goddess, or that you are and talking about fifth dimension, if you're doing light languages, if you are whatever it may be. Again, what I know to be true is that when your heart is calling you to something, you have to follow that nudge. You have to, and if it shows up in a rainbow, color, do it, because that will bring you joy and satisfaction, and it is your, flaunt your feathers, I'm sitting here in a glittery jacket because I love glitter, and it's me. I used to be a corporate key account manager and wearing high heels and pencil skirts and tight, and full makeup and blonde hair and acrylic nails, and none of that. There's nothing wrong with any of that. If that's what floats your boat, go ahead and do it. But for me, it was a uniform that I put on that I thought I was supposed to wear. And now, because I love glitter, I'm most of the time wearing some sort of glitter. And I'm very, very serious about my business. I'm very, very good at what I do. And what I look like has nothing to do with that. Or maybe it does, because it weaves the worlds of that. So the notion that having a spiritual alternative or holistic business is fluffy or woo-woo, I would say own it. Just own it. Because in order to do that, I would say own it. Now, the next thing is that having a spiritual business is a joyride. And I already kind of touched upon this when I said that I I see having a spiritual business as one of the most powerful, transformational, personal development tools there is, because anything that is not of love or based in love will literally come to the surface and you will be forced to look at it. I have something that is brewing that within me that's called the 7 initiations of a spiritual entrepreneur. I'm not really sure where it's going to go, but I see that there are these initiations that we as a spiritual entrepreneur have to go through, and it deals with boundaries, it deals with money. I've mentioned some of them, and it is all to be strengthening who you are in truth. It's all to be strengthening what you're here to do and what you're here to share with the world. And so the notion that that having a spiritual business is a joyride is ridiculous. Also, the discipline that's required. I think that discipline is one of the things that has really lost its purpose, or it's kind of like it's lost its way in the world. That the discipline, that somehow things are supposed to be easy, that because we have a dedication to our craft, that's like, now we know what to do, that's supposed to be easy. It's not. It will bring up, like I said, everything that's not of love, and you will have to quote unquote deal with it and resolve it, dissolve it, heal it, and so that you may even expand further. And so again, the notion that your business, having a spiritual business, is a joyride, is just like, yeah, out of this world. And the final one that I have on my list, and like I said, I really hope that you will jump on in the comments and share other ones that I have missed, because I feel like there's going to be an updated version of this episode at some point. So the last one that I have is that you will be ridiculed. And this is one of those things that is really fear-based. My personal experience, and the experience that I have with my clients, is that when we step out into our truth, when we share that with the world, rarely have I, and if it had happened, it may have happened behind my back, and it may have happened when people have not said anything to me. They may have just unfollowed or unsubscribed or unfriended or anything, which I have not noticed or seen. But the notion that we will be ridiculed for what we believe in, for what we are, what is our truth, I have found to be completely off mark, and what I call a mindfuck from ego. It is designed by ego, and again, there's nothing wrong with ego. I believe that ego serves its purpose, and that purpose sometimes is just completely out of whack with what your heart is calling you to do. However, it's what I call a mindfuck from ego that is designed to keep you safe. It's to keep you comfortable, to keep you stuck in your ways. Because what will people think, and what will people say, and all of these things. What I have found, like I said, what I have found with me personally and with the clients that I serve, is that most often those people that you believe will ridicule you for what you're sharing are the ones that will literally be cheering you on the most. I can't tell you the amount of times where I've been like, oh, this person will probably, and this person will probably. And then when I share, you're the first one to like, the first one to love, the first one to comment, the first one to share. Like, and it's like, oh, and that just goes to show that the fear lives within us. And ultimately, the question is, do you want to live in that space of fear, or do you want to expand through love? Those were the myths that I had for you in this episode. As I have said repeatedly, I would love to hear from you. Which ones have I missed? Go to the show notes. You will find the link. Comment. Let's get them out there. Let's share them so that we can dissolve them and be gone with them. And also, I love you. This is what I have for you today. Take care. That is what I had for you in today's episode of Spiritual Business with Maria Saraphina. I hope it served you well. For all the deeds and details, click the link in the description, and if you enjoyed this episode, support its message by sharing it with a friend or on social media. You can also choose to leave me a comment or a review. I love you. God bless.